All right, welcome everybody to the Randy's World podcast. This is your host, Randall Vigiani. I own a car rental company called Rav Rides. We have 57 cars on the fleet. We do management, we do payment takeovers, creative finance. We're in the peer-to-peer marketplace called Turo. I also host some Airbnbs. My projects right now include this house that I'm in right now. This is my dream home with my podcast studio. I'm putting together a community project here where I have a float tank, I have a wood-burning stove, sauna, a hot tub, a sound lounge, a bunch of fun stuff for energetic healing. So I want people to be able to come here, eat healthy, heal, shadow me, work with me. I do spiritual coaching, and I love to teach people about rentals and wealth creation as well. So without further ado, let's get into today's episode, which is all about self-love and all of the aspects of self-love. We're going to discuss in depth how you could increase your self-love. And I believe that self-love is the foundation of everything that you are. So what I mean by that is before you start a business, before you enter into relationships, you should get your self-love down, because that allows you to move from survival mode into being a lover and a creator. From having to take and get things to being a giver and living in devotion. And so let's start going over all the aspects of self-love. Self-love just isn't one thing. It's made up of multiple elements that work together to create a healthy, resilient, and joyful relationship with yourself. And here's a deep, well-rounded list of core elements of self-love that we're going to go into. We're going to go into self-acceptance, self-compassion, self-respect, self-awareness, self-forgiveness, self-trust, self-esteem, emotional regulation, healthy boundaries, self-validation, gratitude, inner child nurturing, and self-care, and a few other things. So let's start with self-acceptance. Accepting yourself fully, your strengths, your flaws, your past mistakes, your quirks, without harsh judgment. You gotta love the parts of yourself that you're still working on. This is not rejecting parts of you that you don't like. This is loving all parts and integrating yourself into being the most whole and complete being that you can. It's okay that you're still working on some things. We all are. But we don't want to reject those in the process or suppress our emotions about ourselves. We want to love ourselves fully and completely. We want to love even our dark emotions. If you have a breakup or something going on in your life, chances are you're dealing with some dark emotions. Maybe you're going through the dark night of the soul, who knows? But rather than fighting yourself and trying to escape those emotions, turning to vices and different things, sit with those emotions and give those emotions and give yourself love in that process. And you can watch these things melt away so much quicker than just time itself. It's okay, we all experience these emotions, but it's much better to give yourself love, especially during these times, to keep yourself, even if it's not bright, even if you're not happy, work towards peace, because that's a much easier state to get to. Going from dark times to neutral times and peaceful times is easier than to just jump to happy, smiley times. And that's what a lot of us try to do, and we all expect that we're supposed to be happy to enjoy this life. But there are some neutral states and peaceful states that are a lot closer to you than you might think. So one of the practices you can do for this self-acceptance is to look into the mirror, look into your eyes for 30 seconds or more and just tell yourself, I love you. I love this version of myself. And give this to you, even if you don't believe it at first, every day for at least 30 days. And listen to your belief about yourself when you do this, and try to get to a place where you really believe this about yourself. And this is one of the best practices that you could do for self-love and self-acceptance, is this mirror practice. And just telling yourself this throughout the day, hey, I love myself. I know I'm not where I want to be possibly, but I do love this place right now, and I love myself. And that's one thing you can do. So self-compassion, number 2. This is treating yourself with kindness, especially when you fall or fail or suffer, rather than self-criticism. I'll tell you a story. I had just gone through a painful breakup about 2 years ago, and I was seeking some guidance from, I went to see a shamanista, and she specializes in 5-MeO-DMT, the toad frog medicine, and this is something that you inhale. And I went and I did this 5-MeO-DMT. It's supposed to be one of the strongest psychedelics out there. And we went into a ceremony, and I took my first round of the medicine, and I was still actually really fighting myself in my mind. I could feel the struggle in my mind. And I let her know, hey, it didn't fully help me escape my mind and what I'm feeling right now. And so we went into a second round of the medicine, and something just broke. And I had seen with such clarity in my mind, such peacefulness, such relaxation, more than I've ever felt. And voice came through, and it was my own voice, and it said, stop fighting yourself. And it said, it's okay to give yourself everything you want and need. And I had to really reflect on that and think about that, because everything you need is one thing, but everything that you want is a completely different thing. And it's kind of tricky to hear that and not think like, I don't deserve some things that I want. But that's not true. You deserve everything that you want in this lifetime and so much more. And so I don't recommend that psychedelic practice for everyone, but I just wanted to give you a little piece of my experience there, because the words and everything were so powerful that it was life-changing for me. And so you got to remember your divinity. We are not just this body. You are so much more than your body, your mind, your thoughts, and your actions. And I want you to see yourself through two lenses. Sure, we have this personality and this identity that we claim as of all of the things that are built up in our lifetimes of what we've been through and what we've accomplished. And we forget there's this whole other eternal spirit side of ourselves that we don't see. It's the unseen truth of ourself. And these psychedelics and different things can shortcut your access to witnessing this truth. But we are an eternal soul. That's definitely something I believe. And if you could remember that you are a piece of God yourself, we are all God, and we all make up this uncreated universe that we create with every footstep that we make. And remember that God's love, the unconditional love expressed by God, is permeating every cell of your being at every moment. If you could just draw some awareness to it, draw awareness to your divinity, that you're not just this personality, that you are this eternal soul, and you are full of this love. And drawing awareness to this love is part of your self-love practice. Anytime that you're falling or failing and suffering, if you could draw awareness to this love and trigger that love within inside of yourself, it helps you bring your vibration back up to states of peace, love, joy, and happiness. So remember your divinity. Number 3, self-respect. This is setting and honoring your standards, your values, and your boundaries. This is avoiding negative self-talk, avoiding vices such as drugs and alcohol, avoiding poor foods. Sometimes when we're feeling down, we would eat just about anything to feel better, or we would drink to feel better, or maybe even do drugs to feel better. But that just keeps you in lower vibrations, because Jesus in the Bible says your sins and your inequities is just another word for behavior. Separate yourself from your God. So the more of these things clouding up your system, the less you're able to receive the downloads from your higher self. And the way this works is that the cleaner your vessel is, the more open your body, your antenna is to receiving the higher consciousness from your higher self. And there's always a direct link from your spirit, your higher self, to this version of yourself that's in reality playing this game of reality. And the more you can clear that up, the more you'll download the higher self, and the more you're received by the world. And you are magnetic for other people in this world and for things that you want to manifest in your life. So the next thing, number 4, self-awareness. Understanding your emotions, motivations, needs, and desires as part of your self-awareness. We're going to try to learn to control our emotions and not just be a whirlwind hit by the emotions based on your external circumstances. You want to be able to control your vibrational state, your state of being. So your practice for this is mindful meditation all day long. So if something happens to you where you start to feel and you're listening all the time to your feelings, you're listening when you're triggered, and instead of just reacting and becoming reactive to something that's triggering, you start investigating, you stop, you pause. You create a little space between yourself and your emotions where you can become the observer and start to observe what is your belief behind why you're upset about these things. Is it some kind of insecurity within myself that's making me upset and causing me to defend myself rather than to listen to something that may be constructive? And understanding that if someone's saying something to you or doing something, those are their actions and that's their journey. And your journey is your reactive state and your state of being and being able to control your state of being. So don't always blame everyone else for the way that you feel, because your feelings, your emotions are within your control. And this is the best thing you can do, is learn how to control your state of being, because when you learn how to vibrate at a higher level in these states of peace, love, and joy, you're able to manifest and attract the things that you want in your life and the things that you're dreaming about and bring them into your reality. It's hard to do that when you're feeling angry and upset. It's hard to take any action at all towards building your dreams. So this is probably the most important thing. Being able to see heaven on earth relies on you to keep your vibrations high. And if you notice, the people who have a great life, they're usually pretty happy. And they didn't get the great life first and then become happy. They actually learned how to control their state of being and find gratitude in all the moments of life, so they exist into this magnetic state, attracting the things that they want in their life all of the time. Or not all of the time, 100%, but more than 51% of the time. And that's kind of the key here, is if you can get to that place where you're feeling in a positive state of being more than 51% of the time, it gets easier and easier, and you could keep raising your vibration more and more of this time. So self-forgiveness being number 5, we'll move on. Letting go of guilt and shame from past actions. Acknowledging that you were doing the best that you could at the time with the knowledge that you had and your ability that you had, your awareness that you had. And understanding that this is all part of our learning and growth and a part of our spiritual awakening, and seek out the lessons in the moment rather than judging something in your external circumstances as bad right away, because we don't know if it's bad until later, and it turns out that it helped us learn and grow and find the answers to the puzzle that brought us more of what we dreamed of in our life. So a lot of these things that happen to us are here for a reason, in order for us to learn and grow. So is letting go fully and completely when something perceived as negative happens. So life is actually meaningless until we assign meaning to it. So everything that you ever seen in your life, a speaker, a lamp, we've assigned what these things mean. When you're a baby, you don't know what these things are. You don't know what they mean. And so something bad happening to you, you immediately, oh, this is bad, my life is ruined. That's where your ego takes you. And if you can get yourself out of that mode of always trying to see the bad in things when something happens that you don't like and you don't prefer, and you could start looking instead right away for the lessons in it and forgiving yourself rather than negative self-talk and beating yourself up for it, immediately fully let go of that thing and start talking to yourself in a positive way and seeking the lessons, trying to extract the positivity from every little thing that's happening to you at every moment. That's about self-forgiveness, and this is what will set you free and unlock you to move forward faster in life. 6, self-trust. Believing in your ability to make good decisions and navigate life. So trust and belief go hand in hand. This is your faith. Belief is your most powerful tool. The things that you believe in, whether it be religion, or if you believe God is a certain way, or if you believe people are good or bad, or believe yourself, are you good or bad? You have to know yourself, trust yourself, know that you are good. Know that you are here for a divine purpose and you're part of this cosmic puzzle, and you have such gifts to give. And often your deepest pain is your biggest gift when you can transform that and resonate with people where you can see what they need to go through and help them through it because you've been through it. That becomes your biggest gift. So the things that you think might not be positive to you, especially the big things, might actually be your biggest gift. And it's something that you could transform into a business if you wanted to, or at least just to be able to love people and help people through hard times. Be the life raft for people. So practice this when you go to sleep. This is your tool for manifesting your dreams. When you go to sleep at night, use your imagination. Your imagination is so important here to be able to imagine the life that you want in the future and feel that if it's real now, what does that look like? And then when you wake up, you're more likely to take actions towards building your dream life. This is something that I've been doing more and more often, and I see things manifesting into my life more quickly, whether it be health, wealth, or other forms of abundance. So number 7, self-esteem. Having a healthy sense of worthiness and value independent of external validation. This is knowing your worth. This is knowing your value. And like I said, we are so valuable to the world. We have no idea. And for me, I like to keep expanding my value and my being and trying to spread messages like this one here on this podcast is all about me trying to give my lens and give this value to other people to help people with their self-love issues. And so emotional and energetic elements here of self-love brings us to number 8, emotional regulation. So managing your emotions without suppressing them or being overwhelmed. A lot of times when we're feeling negative states, we try to escape them rather than just sitting with them. So the practice would be in real time to stop, create some space, listen to your emotions, sit with them rather than run from them or suppress them, and step into that part of your mind that is the observer to not just feel and be in those emotions, but to be working on those emotions and to witness them from a neutral place, to step outside the negativity, to step outside your own life for a minute, observe and breathe and control the emotional energy within yourself with your breath to relax yourself and let go of the tension that you're feeling. A lot of times you're feeling tension in your neck and in your shoulders and in your chest during these negative states, and you can breathe them out, relax, get to a neutral place in yourself before you make decisions and before you react and tell someone off or flick someone off on the roadway when you were cut off and things like that. The more you practice this mindfulness technique and becoming that observer, the more you'll live in a more relaxed state every day, and the problems will just float through, and these emotions will flow through you rather than getting trapped inside the body and causing other problems. Stress causes a ton of problems in your body. It can cause inflammation and inflames your cells over time. And so the more you can let these emotions flow through you rather than getting stuck in you, the better off life will be and the less suffering that you'll have. So number 9, healthy boundaries. Saying yes and no with integrity, protecting your peace and energy. If there's people in your life that are always negative, when your energy isn't cultivated and calm and strong, then it does not really benefit you to be around these negative people. You are actually the sum of the 5 people that you hang out with. And so choose wisely your relationships and the people that you spend the most time with. I'm not saying to completely cut these people out of your life, but have real conversations with them. Let them know how you feel and help them understand that you need your peace and you may have to spend less time with them, or maybe that will in turn help bring them up to your level and up to your understanding. And so these healthy boundaries actually allow relationships to move forward, helps relationships to move forward in harmony. So rather than just cutting these people out of your life, have these real conversations with them and limit your time with them, but let them know why, so that way you can try to encourage them to still be part of your life and help them get better as well. So these healthy boundaries keep people in your life and they help you move forward with them in harmony. So number 10, self-validation. being able to affirm your feelings and achievements without relying solely on others' approval. So stop trusting all these sources outside of yourself. The kingdom is within yourself. When you become more aware of yourself and you learn the things that help you run your own health, for example, you could stop trusting doctors, you could stop trusting your friends, and you could even stop trusting your employers, and know that these other people in your life, especially doctors, have their own agenda. So doctors may have certain pills and vaccines that they push because they're getting paid to do so, and your health isn't as important as their paychecks. Without those paychecks, they would not have a job. So the whole system is kind of broken. So the more that you learn about health and natural diet and things like that, the more you could stop trusting doctors and stop trusting other people. Number 11, gratitude for self. Appreciating your own journey, growth, and uniqueness. Self-gratitude it's not necessarily my strong suit, but I try to find gratitude all of the time and I really do appreciate the journey that I've been on. I never expected my life to unfold this way. I could have cared less 10 years ago about how much I was helping other people because I felt like I was really in survival and trying to get what I needed just to move forward in my life. And it was like I was seeking love and seeking money for the absence of my own self-love. And now I'm just so grateful that I'm overflowing with this self-love enough to escape survival and move into devotion and be able to start giving and really seeing the rewards for my giving. And there's a spiritual law that says what you give is what you get. And this is the yin and yang. This is everything in perfect harmony in the universe. And so if you can focus on giving, the more you give, natural law says these things come back to you, and often they come back to you in a greater amount than you've given. And it doesn't always happen immediately. This may happen years down the road after you've given a ton, or you've maybe seen things come back to you weeks or days later. And often you'll notice the synchronistic feeling and way of these things returning to you. And it's a very rewarding and fulfilling feeling. Number 12. Inner child nurturing. Recognizing, healing, and caring for the younger parts of you that still seek love and safety. So one of the practices here is you could take yourself through a meditation or find a guided meditation on Spotify, for example, and you're meditating on seeing yourself as a child. And you're going to see this child in front of you and notice the state that they're in and give them a big glowing ball of love and push it into their heart, and then give that kid a big hug and tell that kid that you love that kid and that kid is loved. And this is something that you can do more than once, but even just doing it once is a very powerful meditation. 13, self-care. Regular caring for your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual needs. So this could be things as simple as going to the gym, getting in the sauna, good hygiene. You can shower daily, brush your teeth, grounding, drinking good water. All of these things are self-care, and these are good, and it builds up this goodwill within inside of yourself for integrity. So being able to do the things that you say you're going to do for yourself raises your integrity and allows you to have integrity for your relationships with other people and not failing and not falling through when other people need you. So this is huge on building integrity, is self-care and just doing the things that you say you're going to do for yourself. Otherwise, it will start making you lose belief in yourself if you don't do these things on a regular basis. So consistency is key here. Number 14, personal growth commitment. This is wanting to evolve not because you're not good enough, but because you deserve to keep blooming and expanding your being. So love where you are now, but keep evolving and make your life like a work of art, and make your work like your yoga to become a more organized, more integrity, and basically your art in life as to show the world what you can accomplish for yourself and be an example for others. And this is also part of number 15, which is living authentically. So this is expressing yourself genuinely, not shrinking, not masking who you are. You're not masking your true self just to please others. This is just becoming more and more of your unique self. I think everybody has this inner genius waiting to evolve, and we're waiting to serve the world in a way and be that piece of the puzzle that we were meant here to be. And we probably chose this incarnation to do so. We probably chose our specific life path just to learn and evolve this way, to give back consciousness that information after your life is complete. So that's what I believe. And so have the courage to dream, allowing yourself to want things, pursue your passions, and envision a beautiful future. So don't play small. Just enough will always get you just enough, and it's always going to feel like a struggle. So if you want just enough to get by right now, you may or may not make that goal. I want goals that are so big. I want millions of dollars. I want so much love in my life that when I fall short of my goals, I still have an amazing life. Right now, I'm living in my dream home, and I have 57 cars, and I have 4 other Airbnb houses, and that's because my goals are double or triple that. My income goals are 10 times what they are now. And so I'm falling short of my goals, but it doesn't feel like such a struggle because I always have more than enough. So spiritual or deeper inner elements that we have to go over here is number 17, connection to the higher self or inner wisdom. So what you should try to do is aspect that is your true self, this eternal spirit that I was talking about. You're not just your mind, you're not just your body. I want you to try to access your true nature and see what this God stuff is really about by going there. You can get there through meditation. You could get there through most of the psychedelic plant medicines. They're kind of like a shortcut. I always recommend have some guidance and be safe while trying to do these things. Don't do them for the first time on your own. But I think that is a way where personally I have gotten to this. I've reached this aspect. I've spent time as pure light and pure bliss, almost like an orgasmic feeling in every part of my body for minutes at a time. And there's no experience like that I've done externally here that made me feel this way. And so there's some deeper feeling states that we can touch when touching our true spirit and our true nature, and being able to touch this God stuff, not through reading about it in books, not through the Bible, not through that kind of thing, but actually experiencing it. And once you experience these things, there's no turning back. There's no seeing life the way it was before just from your head. You're seeing it through these other higher intelligence forms, such as your intuition and your heart, and being able to feel rather than just know. And so I think that's just a greater level of knowing. Belief in your inherent worth. This is number 18. So knowing you are lovable and valuable simply because you exist, not because of what you do or what you achieve. And this means a lot of us attach ourselves to our accomplishments and our actions and our past. And if we can let go of some of that and focus on the divinity, focusing on what you truly are beyond this body, focusing on your aspect of God that you are, and knowing your inherent worth based on that. So you're worth so much more than your money. You're worth so much more than your accomplishments. And you deserve abundance. You deserve such a high quality of life, higher than you could ever imagine. And you deserve the love and people in your life that you want and desire. You deserve it all. Presence and mindfulness, number 19. So being yourself in the now without constant judgment of future tripping. So being in the now, awareness of the now, that present moment that we're in right every second of every day is the now. And a lot of us get trapped in our heads because we're thinking about the past, the things that happened to us. We get stuck on these and fixate on these scenarios over and over and over in our heads, and that keeps us in lower vibrational states. So the awareness of now will bring awareness to the fact that there is really no past and there is really no future. We are creating these things with our mind. You can't actually go to the past. You can't actually go to the future. And the theory is that we're reshaping ourselves in different versions of reality every second of every moment. So we're shifting billions of times per second, according to the theory. And so when you bring yourself into the awareness of the now moment, it actually takes you out of trauma. It actually takes you out of the past. It's basically fast forwarding your healing by focusing on what you can create and how much love you can give the world right now, rather than rehashing everything in the past and going through maybe talk therapy, which sometimes it's good for you to process these things, but sometimes it's just keeping you in the repetition of thinking and feeling and creating poor states of being. And anxiety is just thinking about the future of what we haven't accomplished, worrying about the things that we want to do, and worrying about our future. And a lot of the stuff that we make up in our head just doesn't even come true. And we're always rethinking about these worst case scenarios rather than creating from the now, creating without fear, creating through love. And so celebrate, number 20, celebrate your own existence. This is good to do daily. Just making time to yourself to think, feel good, and breathe, and concentrate on the now, for example. Small daily celebrations. What I'd like to do is smoke a cigar. Honestly, that's my favorite thing kind of lately, to bring myself into the moment, to relax, to take time to myself, to just enjoy life and look out at the view on my patio of the mountains and things like that. And so journaling, thinking about things that, at least one thing daily that you're grateful for, could help you out here and keep your vibrations high. And so that's all for now. These are the 20 aspects we've went into deeply about self-discovery here with our love and our self-love practices. And may you give yourself the most love possible. And I love you guys. Thank you for tuning into this podcast, and have a great day.